video, we're talking about a very interesting phenomenon that we see in our comic book community over and over again, which is huge Grail comic books selling very frequently the same exact book on usually the same platform or similar platforms for different amounts of money. And we're going to talk about just what possibly could be going on here. Is it some kind of scam? Is it money laundering? Is it collusion between auction houses? Or is it nothing at all? And stick with me to the end of the video where I lay out some different scenarios, and I want to hear from you guys and just get a pulse from the community of what you guys think is going on with these particular situations. We'll have like option A, B, and C, and I just want to go through the comments and see like which one is more heavily weighted, if any, and just kind of feel the pulse for the community. But before we do, I want to remind you that Bryce Comics is always buying. We buy collections of all sizes. If you're interested in selling your comic collection, reach out to me at brycecomics@gmail.com. Shoot me a list, give me an idea of what you have, and I will shoot you a fast, fair offer. And if we can make some magic happen, I'll get you paid very quickly. We also do a monthly giveaway here on the YouTube channel. If you subscribe, comment, and like, you're entered to win a free slab each and every month. This month, we're giving away 2 slabs. And if you head over to brycecomics.com and sign up for the newsletter, you're entered to win 2 slabs this month. And every month you stay subscribed, you're entered to win a new giveaway. And that's where you get first access to new collections when they come through the shop. Use code COLLECT10 at brycecomics.com. Tons of awesome inventory over at brycecomics.com. That code is always active. And lastly, follow me on Whatnot. There's a link down below for $15 towards your first purchase. And we always have some awesome books in the Buy It Now for $15. So if you're new to Whatnot, stop by, pick up a free book, tons of giveaways and tons of fun. And I hope to see you there. So let's hop into the computer and see just what the heck I'm talking about. Come along with me and see if we can figure out just what the heck is going on with this very strange phenomenon that we're seeing right now in the comic book community that we've seen happen over and over again. This is just an example of one that happened recently. So here's an article that CGC released on their blog. CGC certified Tales of Suspense number 39 realizes $840,000 in heritage sale. Highest among these was a Tales of Suspense 39 graded CGC 9.8. Which is a 1 of 1, folks. A 1 of 1, 9.8 white pages, first appearance of Iron Man. You might think at first glance that $840,000 is an incredibly impressive sales. And by all means, the number $840,000 for a comic book that was, once sold for 12 cents, relatively impressive sale, but not at all impressive when you go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole. So here is the sale for the 840. Here's the actual book on Heritage website. They have a great zoom in feature. One thing that's very interesting about this book is that it was graded in 2016, 9.8 white with 2 grader's notes, which is always interesting. 2 grader's notes on a 9.8, light wear, bottom of spine, very light spine stress lines. And I always like to look at the book really closely. There's also a little bit of wear here at the top. It's a super sharp copy. Look how sharp these edges are. I'm not necessarily debating that this is really a 9.8. It's definitely on the cusp of between 9.6 and 9.8, and I could see an argument for a 9.8. And as CGC has gone on record to say, it's not always 1 + 1 = 2 as far as defects and how you arrive at a grade. There's a lot more that goes into it, like eye appeal, and this one looks great, but there is spine stress. Here you can see some spine stress here. I'm sure there's other areas along the spine that has a little bit of spine stress, and then there's obviously the wear here at the bottom corner. So questionable 9.8, but 9.8 nonetheless because CGC said so. And that's what we paid them for to do, is to grade this book. But it was back in 2016. Here's where it gets interesting. $840,000 is not an impressive sale when you see that the exact same book, because this book is a 1 of 1, there's only one single 9.8 on the CGC census at this time. This exact same copy sold privately at Comic Link for $2 million in September of 2023. So 7 months ago, 7 months prior to the $840,000 sale, the exact same book sold for $2 million. Somebody bought this book for $2 million and then turned around and sold it on Heritage, sent it to auction, took a big risk on what it would actually sell for, and it realized a $1.16 million loss, more than a 50% drop in price in just 7 months. And we're talking about huge numbers. And that's not to mention the fees on both sides. You had to pay a very handsome fee just to sell this book on Heritage. So they didn't get anywhere near $840 in their pocket. It's just a baffling thing to me. Who in their right mind would think that this book, bought at a $2 million price, would realize anything more than that? I think $2 million for this book is a very, very, very high price, even though it's a one of one. I think $2 million, I think you would have to be batshit crazy to think that you can buy it for $2 million, sell it on Heritage, and flip it for a profit, even factoring in fees. I just don't think that that's what actually happened here. Comic Link doesn't report sales to GP Analysis. So the only way you would have known that it was a $2 million sale was if you just happened to be, perusing Comic Link's site, and they do have it right there on their homepage, and it says, we sold this book for $2 million, and it was a private placement sale. In the same article, at least we have Captain America #1 in a CGC 9.2, sold for $750,000. So here's the sale. Absolutely gorgeous book. What a book. I mean, a 9.2 of Captain America #1. Just absolutely phenomenal. This is an absolute dream of mine to own this book someday, and pretty much any condition, I would be just thrilled to own this. It just checks all the boxes for me. The thing that's interesting, though, is here's the sale for $750,000, and GP Analysis records, the certification numbers 424525429,001, and then just less than a year ago, the exact same book, 4245429,001, sold on the exact same platform for $810,000. So somebody bought this book for $810,000, and then turned around and sold it on the same platform for a loss of $750,000, which wasn't anywhere near as big as the loss of the $2 million sale. But it begs the question of, what is going on here? Why are people buying these massive, massive grails for a massive price in a depressed market and then turning around and selling it on the exact same platform? Let's take a look at some possible scenarios. So let's talk about the possible scenarios of what's happening here. We'll have option A, B, and C, and leave a comment down below with what option you think is going on. I want to feel the pulse of the community here and see if there's a more heavily weighted option. So option 1 is Occam's razor, which Occam's razor states is a theory that states if there's multiple competing ideas to explain a phenomenon, you should go with the most simple one. And this is kind of a situation where there might not be a most simple one, but certainly a possible simple solution or explanation of what's going on here is that somebody bought a book, got cold feet, and decided to sell the book and took a loss. Like, that's option 1, is that there's nothing fishy going on, that somebody bought a book for a crazy high price, got cold feet, or decided, they no longer wanted the book and turned around and sold it. There's this concept that I'm going to do a whole video on coming soon called catch and release. This concept of catch and release, that we see it with fishing all the time, is where people will spend massive amounts of money on fishing gear, spend tons of time doing these huge vacations, put out all this money to catch a fish just to take a picture with it and release it right back into that stream, ocean, creek, lake, whatever it is. And the same phenomenon happens with comics, that people hunt for the comic much like you're hunting a fish. They actually catch the comic and take a picture of it, post it on social media, and then release it right back into the wild and spend a bunch of money in the process, just like catch and release fishing. And so I'm going to do a whole video on that. So that's option A. Catch and release, simple buyer's remorse, nothing fishy. The guy just bought the book and turned around and sold it. That's option A. Option B is money laundering. And this is the part that doesn't fully make sense for me. And there might be two different things going on here with these two books that we talked about in this video, the Tales of Suspense 39 and the Captain America Comics #1, because the Tales of Suspense 39 was bought private party from Comic Link. It's possible that maybe they paid $2 million in cash. Maybe that was a cash purchase. We don't know because there's no way to corroborate the sale. If it was paid for in cash and then they turned around and sold it on Heritage, that would be a way to take dirty money, dirty cash, buy something, sell it through Heritage, and then you're going to have to pay all these fees and you're going to have to pay income tax on the sale. And so maybe you say, oh yeah, I got lucky. I found this book at a yard sale, turned around and sold it at Heritage for $840,000. That is now clean money. You pay, a capital gains tax, probably about 30% in taxes on the $840,000 plus all the fees to Heritage. But at the end of the day, you have clean money, and now it's in a bank account and you can use it. Whereas with cash, there's very little that you can do with cash. So that could possibly make sense with Comic Link situation, but it doesn't make sense for the Heritage sale where Captain America 1 sold for $810,000 and then turned around and sold, less than a year later for $750,000 for a massive loss, especially when you factor in all the fees that happen on both transactions. I don't understand how that could be money laundering, and I'm hoping somebody can explain it better to me. Maybe leave a comment or shoot me an email. How could you possibly use auction house like Heritage, buy something from Heritage, because you can't pay for something with cash, and then turn around and sell it on the same platform? Like, that wouldn't be a way to clean money. So I just don't see how it's possible that some of these big sales, that they're recorded sales, could be money laundering. But maybe I'm missing something there. If you had a business, let's say you're Jeff Bezos, and you have the company checkbook for Amazon, and you wanted to buy Captain America 1 and write it off as a business expense and hang it up in your office, and maybe Jeff Bezos actually could get away with that as a business expense. You want to impress colleagues or people that you work with, like maybe you could write that off as an expense. But if you were to, and then you wouldn't have to pay taxes on the money, would come out of your profit. So that would be a way to save money in taxes, but you have to keep the book, because if you turn around and sell that book on Heritage, now you have to report that as income. And so you're definitely not saving any money if you're Jeff Bezos and you buy the book and then turn around and sell it. It's a loss all over the place. Option 2, money laundering. Option 3 is some kind of collusion here with auction houses. Is there something going on, something fishy going on with the auction houses? And I'm not, placing blame on anybody or accusing anybody of anything. I'm just throwing out possible explanations to explain why the same massive sales are happening for the same exact books over and over and over again. Is there something going on with the auction houses that are in on it? The Comic Link sale thing, is it possible that this $2 million private placement sale never actually happened? Is it possible that the person who owned the book somehow got Comic Link to post that article and say, hey, just say you sold this book for $2 million because I'm going to turn around and sell it on Heritage, and I want it to make news, and we have this sale that is no way to corroborate at all, and just say that you sold it for $2 million, and then hopefully that will increase the sale when it actually goes up for sale at Heritage. That's a possibility. So that's option C, is something fishy, collusion going on between auction houses. All right, so once again, option A, nothing fishy. Somebody just got cold feet, catch and release. That's option A. Option B, money laundering. Option C, collusion between auction houses. I'm curious to know what the pulse of the community is on this subject, and also if I'm missing another option. Is there another explanation for why the same book is selling over and over and over again for different amounts of money? So that's all I got for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like for your chance to win 2 slabs this month. Don't forget to head over to BryceComics.com and sign up for the newsletter for your another chance to win 2 free slabs. Use code COLLECT10 at BryceComics.com for all in-stock items. That code is always active, and I'm always buying collections. So if you are looking to move on from yours, shoot me an email, give me an idea of what you got, and I'll shoot you a fast, fair offer. Follow me on Whatnot for awesome live auctions, and lastly, Instagram for trades for grails and other fresh content over there. Thanks as always for sticking with me to the end. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye.